Hi Milkshake, I'm Cassidy Towriss and welcome to Fit Stop. Come with me and I'll show you what I'm wearing to the Miami Grand Prix.
Welcome to Fit Stop, where F1 meets Closet Confessionals. 3 fits, 3 days, and the stories behind both the looks and the people wearing them. Today we have Cassidy Towriss, the Chief Brand Advisor for the Cadillac Formula One team, and she slays the paddock like no one else. I'm so excited to see her outfits for the weekend and hear about the Cadillac journey to the grid. Welcome to Cassidy. Hey Cassidy, so great to meet you.
Hi, so nice to see you.
You look wonderful.
Oh, thank you, as do you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to have you on Fit Stop, and you have to tell us about this look.
Oh, I would love to. So this is vintage Dior. It's John Galliano from the year 2000. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, that color, that vibe, it's very obviously early 2000s, very Paris Hilton,
yes,
if you will. And I was like, that's a Miami look. So this is my look for Friday of the Miami Grand Prix.
How did you build this look? Did it start with the dress?
Yes, it did. It definitely, it's a statement piece. It's a little bit loud, which is not necessarily outside my comfort zone, but it's not what I always gravitate to. And so I really was like, the dress is gonna be the statement. It doesn't need to be loud with accessories. And then it was really about then, for shoes, something semi-practical. I'm not always the most practical in footwear. And then I do have, these are like my tried and true sunnies. And I was like, these will definitely go with kind of the cream coloring in between. And so that's kind of how the outfit came together. In addition, the bag, I've had this bag for a few years now, and it is a unique color in and of itself. And they went with each other. It's kind of oversized as well. Again, kind of an homage to that early 2000s vibe.
Yes.
And so that's kind of how we ended up where we are with the look.
Do you like to pair like a monochromatic look with your colors?
And especially for Miami this weekend, that definitely has become a bit of a theme. And I think it's really when you get confused on where an outfit is headed, monochromatic is a really like grounding place to go back to when you start to get confused. And so this one kind of came together almost too easily because the colors are somewhat unique, bright, and very Miami. It's almost in every team over the years of the Miami Grand Prix have used a hot pink in their marketing in some capacity over time, and so it felt like the right vibe.
Well, I love the denim. What's your favorite part of this dress?
Honestly, it's comfortable, which is great, but also there's just little details to it that you wouldn't realize. There's this cute little pocket on the back that I just think is so fun, and it's fun to be a girl. It's fun to get to enjoy these things, and this is one of those outfits that is like, you know what, let's enjoy being a girl today. Let's just have fun with it.
Are you planning on doing your hair and makeup a certain way for this look?
That's a great question. I do think about that ahead of time, and so hair, I'm going again for simple. It's a loud dress. You'll notice I don't have any necklaces on. And so I think it will be quite similar to as you see it now. On makeup, I think it'll be probably a little bit lighter, even a little bit more, just natural, probably. But overall, a similar vibe to what you see here today.
Okay. Well, I absolutely love this look, and it's so wonderful to meet you. It would be so great if you could let everyone know a little bit more about you. So tell us where you're from, your background, how did your love of motorsport and fashion start?
Yes, of course. Well, I'm Cassidy Towriss. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. Go Chiefs. My dad was a sponsor in IndyCar when I was a kid. And that kind of was my introduction into motorsports. And it really, at first, like the very first time I went to a track, I didn't get it. I was like, Dad, these cars go in circles. Why is that interesting?
Yes.
But it only took really 1 or 2 times of exposure, learning how intricate, how much of a team sport it is, that it's not just, the driver, the pilot is very important, but pit stops, engineers, strategy, everything, it really rolls into one, and I love team sports. And I think that's like a hidden gem of motorsports. If you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
And so I kind of really fell in love with it then, and I was at a point in school and stuff where I was able to travel with my dad to these races. And then when I graduated college, I went and worked for a sports marketing agency that actually, I took the job because it was an LPGA golf tournament at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I was like, you know what? Job security and racing at that moment in time wasn't fabulous. So I was like, I'm gonna go this route. It's near enough to a racetrack. I'll get there sometime. And the sponsor of that LPGA tournament decided to sponsor the Indy 500 in 2017.
Wow.
And I got to head that up from the agency side. That sponsor also happens to be my husband now, Dan Towriss. So it's also the way we met, which is very fun. And so Dan and I have obviously kind of gone on this Cadillac F1 journey together. And so it was really, that kicked off a lot in my life.
How did your passion for fashion start? Was that around the same time as motorsport?
I love that question actually, because I think my comfort and love for motorsport definitely came first. I think, I've always been a girly girl. I wanted to be a princess when I was little, all of those kind of typical girly things. But as I got older and life gets more complicated, you get not more insecure, but you just grow up and things weigh on you differently. I found that fashion was actually a way to really evoke more confidence and feel more confident when I walk into a room. And so it actually stemmed from a place of wanting, how do I want to look and present myself before anyone even speaks to me? And so I started kind of, just exploring more with brands and stuff, and I really found like a big comfort spot in sophistication, elegance, timelessness with Dior. And I now have had this wonderful relationship with Dior for over 5 years, 6 years now, and it's been such a learning experience. It's really immersed me in the world of fashion and how much of an art it is. I just have so much love for it. That there's so much to gain culturally also from the fashion world. The influence it has across the board is incredible. And so it's been something I really, really love. And now being in Formula One and putting them alongside each other, Haute Couture is all made by hand, intricate. The people who have these skills to make these clothes, if they don't pass it along, it'll be a lost art. And it's made by hand. And then you look at these Formula One cars and they're custom, made by hand, each bolt, each piece. And so it's kind of like they go hand in hand in their own way, in that they're very intricate, complicated, complex, beautiful pieces of art. At the end of the day, one just happens to go really fast.
Yeah, and I can see like the words that you use, sophisticated, timeless, classic, kind of in the Cadillac car, which we'll talk about a bit later. So I love that you met Dan at like a women's sporting event.
Yes, actually that's a huge part of, I have learned so much from Dan. As an individual in the corporate space, he really saw early on, I think before it was trendy or popular or something that corporations needed to check the box of to support women, he already was. And that's something that has been super inspiring for me in the way that he, one, just supports me, but supports the team, the way he builds the team, his intentionality. And so it's actually one of my favorite things about him is he understands the importance of that, but also in doing it the right way, not handing it to somebody just for that.
Right.
But, the talent is there across the board in all shapes, sizes, genders, look, feel, everything. And so he really knows that, sees that, and helps find and cultivate that talent.
I love that. So I'd love to talk about when you first met Dan. I guess the first time you met was on a golf course. That wouldn't have been your first date though, right?
No, definitely not.
What did you guys do, and do you remember what you were wearing?
I knew that I liked and enjoyed Dan's company. But, we had never hung out outside of work before. But when the opportunity came about and we were both interested in it, we took it. And so we actually went to a lake in Indiana.
Okay.
And we went out on a boat, and I called my sister and I was like, what do I wear? And she helped me figure it out, but it was essentially what you would wear to the lake in Indiana. You would wear a swimsuit and a cover-up and bring a towel, and it was very casual.
Yeah.
It was very, very casual.
Oh, a date on a boat on water sounds perfect.
It was great.
So tell us about how much you love building a business together.
Oh, that's our bread and butter. I don't know if it's because we worked together before, but I think we also just have such an appreciation for the different perspective that the other one provides. He has so much experience and insight into leadership and people, but then also of the two of us, I'm actually the more emotionally intuitive one, and so I always seem to provide him a perspective he hadn't thought about, and vice versa. So we learn a lot from each other, and there's so much respect there. But especially in the Cadillac F1 project, it monopolized our lives. Every friend and family member we had, if you spoke to us in those 4 years, it's all you heard about.
Yeah.
And so we really love coming up with ideas together. We're both creative, we're both very involved, we're both very in the details, and it's been, the honor of a lifetime and a joy and a privilege to get to do it with him.
Do you take work home, or do you have like a no racing talk at the dinner table?
Oh gosh, no, we definitely take work home. Because we like to eat dinner early. I don't know if that's like we're old or whatnot, but not long after he gets home from the office, we'll have dinner, and it's kind of our chance to debrief, go over things. And so we definitely talk about it there, but there is definitely times we set aside to not talk about it and things like that. And usually that means everything's just running so smoothly, there's nothing to talk about. So to get those moments are something to celebrate in and of themselves, because things are more or less running smoothly. But I will say those are fewer and far in between, as this is a brand new from scratch Formula One team, which is no small feat.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing, and I can't wait to see what you're wearing for Quali.
Thank you.
The Quali look. This might be my favorite.
Oh,
Tell us about it.
This one, I've been super excited about this one. I knew as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is gonna be Miami. This is 2004 Valentino. It actually does have a matching skirt that ultimately I decided to not style with for the race. Just It didn't feel so right for the track. So I get the opportunity to wear that some other time, which will be great. Also, it happened to just be happenstance that this bag matched it perfectly.
Yes.
So that kind of came together very easily. I did go through like multiple white jeans, like there's so many kinds. White jeans can be not forgiving. And so ended up with this pair of frame denim, which I absolutely love. They're stretchy, they're comfortable, they're thin, great for Miami heat. And then on the shoes, these are the Miss Z Louboutins, and I was very anti Louboutin because of the lack of comfort in them for years. But when they came out with the Miss Z model, it completely changed the game for me with them, and so I needed the height for this look. So we ended up with that. So that is, oh, you know what? And I actually really love the sunnies I have for this look too. They're Bottega. I officially have these, and I think all three colors they make it in: the tortoiseshell, the black, and the silver.
Love it, love it. So do you often wear vintage?
Vintage is something that I have really loved and appreciated as I've learned more about fashion. And honestly, I think we have people who, love fashion and wear it themselves, like Kim Kardashian and things like that, to kind of, say that vintage kind of got brought back. Some of the people I work with to curate the vintage and things like that, they're like, it is so hard to find vintage right now because everybody wants it. And so there's definitely like a shortage out there of it almost. And so, but I also have a number of pieces in my closet that were my mom's. And she has this like Versace dress that like fits me perfectly, that I absolutely love. She has this beautiful backless top that I remember I wore it out for my 21st birthday, and she bought it in Italy on a trip with my dad. And so those sort of things, I think it's really fun. I think it's cool how fashion comes back around and comes back in style. I fear low-rise jeans coming back, but everything has a cycle.
Yes. I love how Valentino is always so romantic.
So romantic. Their new and current designer, Alessandro Michele, I've had the honor to attend 2 of his couture shows, and truly what he's doing with the brand, and it's funny actually, there is a look in a current collection that actually reminds me of this piece. And they go back into the archives and take inspiration and want to give homage to Mr. Valentino and things like that. And so it's really cool to see how new designers get inspired by the previous ones of the brand's past. And so I've really, really enjoyed his take on the Valentino brand. And I did purchase a dress this last couture show that, how do I say it? More or less gives Cadillac car livery vibes.
Okay, so monochromatic black and white.
Yes, and when you see it, you'll see why. And I look forward to debuting it at some point. And I'm gonna have to put it next to a photo of me in the car and say who wore it better, because it's giving that.
Oh my God, we're excited. So you talked about how there's many types of white jeans that you can wear. So how did you think about a silhouette? Because you got a cinched waist, you wanted flare at the bottom.
Absolutely. I did look at like a straight jean and even a baggy jean, just in the current trends that's very in. But I think with the silhouette of the top, it really needed to also give shape.
Yeah.
And so I settled on more of the boot cut flare, and I'm really happy with it. You know, we're women, we overthink things.
Yeah.
This was one of those things I overthought, but I'm actually really happy with it.
And it's so Miami, the green.
Well, and I mean, look at us.
Exactly, we're
in
matching.
the same realm right now.
So speaking of Miami, the livery this race is incredible. You talked about how much your love for Dior is sophisticated, timeless, classic. It's so sophisticated, it's so awesome. Tell us about how that design came about.
Yeah, I thank you for bringing it up, because this has been one of the things I have anticipated the most since the inception of the idea. You know, there's a team of people who worked on the livery for the full season, and you know, I had my input and influence there as well, and am really proud of the way that turned out and the splash that made. But we were really motivated to of course we were going to do a special livery for Miami GP. It's our first race on home soil. That was a given. But how do we do right by our original livery by not deviating too much? How do we be American without being like a gaudy American?
Yes, yes.
And then how do we really just show up and do something that, you know, impresses people, that people like? You want them to like it at the end of the day. You know, you can't make everybody happy, but you want the overall take to be positive. And so as soon as we decided on the original livery, this picture came to mind. And I said to a few members of our commercial team, I know what I want Miami to look like if you'll give me the chance. And you know, we worked with Reservice to render it up, and they did a great job and kind of I love the terminology they use. They said, we're your pen. And so they really have been a great pen to help us put those ideas onto paper. And it really is this timeless, elegant, it's clearly American. It's stars and stripes, but it's also clearly Cadillac F1. And it merges all of the things. And the launch video, the music behind it, the theme of There's No Place Like Home, I couldn't be happier with the reception of this. I know people are waiting for color. There's color on the rear wing. And you know, you never know what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, Cadillac to me is a classic brand, and so I love how everything is quite subtle but intentional, and it looks beautiful with, you know, the USA on the back, but that's in color. I thought that was so nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're definitely easing into all of our ideas. We have a lot of them, and we're excited to use them. And you know, we think the fans' input is important, and so we listen. You know, not to every comment. Some of them aren't always nice.
Yeah,
but you can't please everyone.
Yes. So your role as chief brand advisor, what does that look like day to day?
Yeah, of course. It's funny. It was harder for me to step out of the more like operational day to day, because that's what I did early on in my career, and I really enjoyed that. And so my main projects are specialty liveries, collaboration with Tommy Hilfiger, like the way we show up on social media and concepts around ideas and things like that. And so those things monopolize the majority of my time, but really anywhere you see the brand show up and we're trying to connect with people and it needs to leave an impression, I have a lot of input and say on those things. And so a lot of ideas, we'll have like a collaboration session on a topic. The team will go from there, they'll build it out, they'll think through the operational logistics and stuff. And sometimes I'm like, I can come to those meetings.
Right,
you know?
right.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's the operational side of this is a fascinating thing for anybody who wants to work in Formula One or really in any sport. That you have to understand the operational logistics that you need in order to make any decision and get it done. And so that's not as big a part of my job, but it's really the creative direction. And we have a phenomenal team. I really enjoy how collaborative we are as a team. You know, there's a member of our team named Henry, and he's probably who I spend the most time with. And you know, given when this will come out. So we're collaborating with a scarf company from Monaco to do special gifting in the paddock. And it's turning out really nice. And that was Henry's idea, and he's come up with so many great things. And so there's so many people across the team I get to work with, but it's really a team effort. I just get to give ideas and support where I can.
Is there a project that you're most proud of? To date.
To date. Ooh, that's a fabulous question. You know, I think the whole activation around the Super Bowl, being that it was the first time I'd ever been involved in the production of a commercial, was probably just, for me, that was some real growth and learning. I'm like a firm believer, like you will never know everything. If you do think you know everything, you'll miss something. There's something, you'll get left behind.
Yeah.
And so it was a real opportunity of growth for me. And that was and I'm really proud of the way it was received. You know, we wanted to make a splash, and I think we did. But there are so many projects in the works that 2027 fan wear.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to circle back to that question at the end of the year.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. So the vision for the Cadillac F1 team's brand, is it near or far from what you originally imagined, or how has it evolved?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I think it is rooted in the same like timelessness of how we're coming at it from an American perspective. But I think being stewards of the Cadillac brand with General Motors, I think we take that very seriously, and we want to make sure that we're doing right by them and their heritage. I mean, Cadillac car brand has such a great history, and so we get to incorporate a lot of those things and use their marks. So when we do that, we're heavily inspired and motivated and you know, deferential to what they would like to see as, you know, a partner in the team, of course, owner in the team, and everything. So that's really inspirational. And I think when they came on as a power unit manufacturer and we became a full works team, well, will be by the end of the decade, you know, that really set the tone. But I think we didn't dream too early on about what it would look like, because we knew it would be a bit of a process to get there.
Yeah, I think the 50s Cadillac logo is so iconic. You have the best team garage like entryway. I think it's fabulous. But I love how that is an element of nostalgia that's like incorporated into the brand.
Oh, thank you. You know, there are so many marks to potentially make use of, and the collaboration with General Motors is truly one of the most fun parts of this project, because not only from an innovative and what they can provide for us, you know, just on track and on the technical side of things, their brand, I mean, you know, there are the classic Cadillacs. There's the Marilyn Monroe photo, the pink Cadillac. There are so many beautiful, really meaningful cultural moments that we can give homage to or try to incorporate. And so that's something that we, you know, will have many years in Formula One to do.
So take us way back, and was it straightforward for Cadillac to join the grid, or what was the major hurdle that you had to overcome?
Long answer short, no, it was not straightforward. But, you know, I think we've really turned the chapter from the process of getting into, we're here, we're in Formula One, we're racing.
Yes.
And so the focus is really being on track. But I think, you know, we actually look back at the length of that process with some fondness. Formula One's a big deal. It shouldn't necessarily be easy. I'm not saying it should necessarily be that hard either, but, you know, it really made us appreciate being here, and we say, you know, we fought for the right to work this hard, and we mean it. We love grinding on this project and making sure that, you know, the way we show up is as meaningful as possible.
Yeah.
And, you know, we always say anything worth doing is worth doing right. And
Yes.
so that's the goal.
So let's talk about your fabulous drivers, Checo and Valtteri. What do you love about working with them?
They're both so fabulous and so different in a lot of ways, but very similar in their approach, that they both know they signed up for a startup project. And they're both really intentional about the amount of push they give to the team. You know, they're pushing us forward, pushing us to make progress, but not in a way that is, you know, it's all one team mentality. You know, they have so much experience to offer, and so they're really fabulous. And their personalities just, they're such characters in of their own right. You know, Valtteri has his whole persona. He fits in so well. And Checo has just really been so positive and pushing and appreciative also, I think, given his past in the sport. And so it's not lost on us that while we picked them, they also picked us. And so we really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for sharing again, and we can't wait to see what you're wearing for race day. Welcome to race day. I love this look. Tell us about who you're wearing.
Thank you. This look, I really was just inspired by the colors of Cadillac. It's very much a departure from our bright, colorful looks for Friday and Saturday. But this top is Dior Haute Couture by Maria Grazia for Dior. And I thought it would pair fun with a pair of capris for the Miami Grand Prix, kind of a retro vibe, which kind of goes along with the vintage theme for the weekend. And then the shoes are actually also Dior, but by Jonathan Anderson, the new and current designer for the brand. The bag is also Dior. And it's called the Babe bag. And so this one's fun, very retro inspired.
Yes.
And in true fashion, we are finishing it off with Dior sunnies. And so it's very black, white, chrome in a way. And I did also add my Cadillac earrings.
Oh my gosh, those are amazing. We have to get a close-up of those later.
Yes, absolutely.
So how do you think about styling specific to a race weekend? Are you thinking intentionally about Cadillac colors, Miami? How do you plan for a weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question because I think for me, when we were stepping into Formula One in this new way for the first time, I didn't want to be stressed about what I was going to wear. And so it was something I actually really prepared for before the season even started. And I did work with someone as well, fabulous, fabulous woman named Molly Dixon. And she helped a lot with the procurement of the vintage and the styling. And so that helped take a lot of it off my shoulders. But I think what we really did is we picked just clothes I liked, things I felt comfortable in. And then we took what I loved and we applied them to a race weekend. Like this fits great for Silverstone. That's clearly a Monaco dress.
Right.
And so the previous two looks especially said Miami to me. I've really gone back and forth with what my Sunday look would be. And this just happened to arrive at the right time because I think it's organza. These are all hand curled pieces. And so I was like, it feels like the right thing. It feels elevated. It feels classy. And I'm excited to wear it for race day for our first home race.
Yeah. And what do you love about Couture specifically?
Oh, I think it's the intricate details. I think some of it's hard to see from just like in a photo or things like that. But when you can touch it and feel it, also it fits you perfectly.
Yes.
They make a not a bust, but like a figure, a dress figure of you, and they make it to your measurements perfectly. And so it's extra comfortable for that reason and things like that. And so, but I think couture, it truly is such an art. And I just have so much appreciation for it. I can sew on a button and that's about the extent of it.
And then I know you're wearing capris, which is definitely trending right now. So how do you view trends? Are you pro trend? If it suits your body, you'll use it.
Absolutely. I think that's, trends within comfort. If low-rise jeans are making a comeback, you may not see me in low-rise jeans. But I think I also do want to have a timelessness, but I think there's a place to do both. Like talking about my personal style, I think, it does vary, but it all fits a similar concept of just being very put together. No matter if it's a trendy piece or a louder piece like my Friday look, that it all can be rooted in some sort of, well, that's Cassidy.
Yeah. So in Miami, there can be weather. So do you think about backup plans in case it rains or it's windy?
Of course. You almost have to because you never want to be caught off guard. And so, for Miami, I do have a great rain jacket that will come with me to the track, especially on Sunday as it's looking right now. But I think also in general, I bring a backup outfit to every race. Here we are where I live and I have the benefit of having access to my entire closet, but at any other race that we travel to, I pack a backup outfit for multiple reasons. Like, what if that morning on the way out, something spills on you, something, that you can't get out of the door the way you planned. And so I always have a pretty solid backup, prepared and ready if ever needed. It's an important thing to think through. This is the kind of stuff that by the time race weekend comes around, I don't want to have to think about it. I just want to execute it.
And so working with a stylist also helped with that.
For sure, just because the volume. There's so many races, and so I think that's really what was I need help here. Could I have done it on my own? Yes. Would it have been as fun? Probably no. And I'm really happy with the way it came out, and it's probably something I will continue to do in the future. And also, there's so much out there. It's really hard for one person to curate all that for themselves.
Oh, yes. Looking is what is time consuming.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
I could get caught online for who knows how long.
Oh, I know. So how would you describe your personal style?
Ooh, that's a great question, because I think it can vary from fun and out there in a way, as seen with the Friday dress. But I think in general, I do like sophisticated, elegant, but also my age to a certain degree. I think I did go through a phase where I definitely dressed older than I am. And I think I'm kind of in a sweet spot where I'm like, I'm just going to dress for me as I am. But I think, I like to make a statement, but also be elegant when I can be.
And so is that a bit about what drew you to your relationship with Dior in terms of that timeless, elegant, sophisticated
silhouette? I will say, like, anything off the rack there, ready to wear there, it rarely needs alteration. Usually it has something to do with the length of a pant or something like that. And so honestly, there's a level of ease with that I've really appreciated, because if you ever need something last minute, you're pretty confident it'll fit you. But I think also the people, I will say, I have like true lifelong friends through Dior, people who have celebrated us and this project. They've heard about it for years, and they were the first to send flowers, send a text, send congratulations. That. And so there actually is like a real human element to it. I also have a really fabulous relationship with Valentino, and so those people, they share in those moments. We've been in fitting rooms when we've gotten news that things are going our way in this F1 project, and those people have literally celebrated with us. And so there's a human element to it as well. Like, I understand that fashion isn't for everyone, but it is a place and an escape that we've found a lot of warmth and knowledge and learning and just overall positive experience. And so overall, it's all those things combined.
I think we can see the love language of fashion kind of in the Cadillac brand as well, in terms of like how the liveries are evolving and how you show up for fans. So that's really cool.
It's the details, I think, and I hope to get to continue to incorporate the details and also do some collabs. I think we have such a great partnership with Tommy Hilfiger, and that is growing and expanding and building every day. But then also, there's opportunities to do things elsewhere, and we're very new, and I hope fans will give us the patience that we kind of need as we get all those off the ground. Getting up and running just to be on track, let alone from a commercial standpoint, it is no small undertaking, and so we have a lot in the bank that we can go to in the future, and a lot of collabs and partnerships that would be goals of mine in the future.
So Indy is also part of what you do. So how many weekends are you not home?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think this year is 31 race weekends. And so across IndyCar, NASCAR, IMSA, and then with Wayne Taylor, we also participate in Le Mans for WEC, and then Formula One, obviously, Formula E, Australian Supercars.
How do you do it?
Honestly, it's the love of it. It helps. People. We wouldn't do it if we didn't love it. But I think it's very motivating to get wins, to get there,
yes.
to make a team of people, to put all the puzzle pieces together of a really successful team across the board. And it's all about people. And so that's really a great motivator. But there are so many things that would mean so much, but my inception into motorsport started with IndyCar. It has a special place in my heart. I one day hope to be, a part of a championship winning team, but really an Indy 500 championship team. And as we roll into May now, that we have that opportunity here at the end of the month, Memorial Day weekend. And so, but yeah, 31 weekends away from home. I really miss my dog, but it's great. Actually, to be here in Miami and get to sleep at my house, see my dog at the end of every day is actually a true treat. So,
what kind of dog do you have?
I have a rescue pit bull named Lucas. We don't know his exact age. He's probably 8 or 9 now. We've had him for 6 years, and he's black and white. very
Funny how that
Cadillac
happens. Yeah.
inspired. And he is truly just the sweetest. He's like a pocket pitty. He's not very big. And so he's just the sweetest little guy.
Well, it's so cool to hear all of these stories and also just like the winning mindset that the whole team has. And thank you for sharing all of your looks with us. It's been so fabulous to see them and also get to know you. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being in Formula One and doing what you're doing for women. I think you're a great example of all the growth and fabulous things that can come out of Formula One. So thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, thank you.